Hi guys, welcome to this week's video. Today we're going to hear a great story about Jonah.
At the start of our story today, God told Jonah to go to Nineveh to tell the people there that there will be justice if they continue to do evil things. But Jonah didn't want to go. So instead of going towards Nineveh, he ran in the opposite direction and got on a ship going out to sea, sailing away. Because he ran away, God caused a great storm to come upon the sea. And so the sailors threw Jonah overboard because they knew that he was running away from God. So when Jonah was thrown overboard, a giant fish swallowed him, and he stayed in the fish's stomach for 3 days and 3 nights, praying the whole time. While he was in the fish and praying, Jonah admitted that God was able to save even a wicked city like Nineveh from the judgment that was coming. So, after the 3 days and nights, the fish spat him up onto dry land, and he did what he was told and went to Nineveh and told them what was coming. And so all the people stopped doing the evil things and started to pray and worship God. Throughout the whole story, Jonah was angry and upset, and he didn't want to do what God was telling him to do. But even though he was not wanting to go, God still was able to use him in the places that he was and helped tell other people about God. And so the sailors stopped ignoring God and started to worship him. And the people of Nineveh stopped doing evil things and started to worship God as well because Jonah was there.
So for today's craft, we're going to make a fish. We're going to need a closed peg, a piece of card, just a small bit, some coloured pencils to colour in your fish or some felt pens, pencil to do some drawing with, something to draw around that's about the size of a £2 coin or something like this, a pair of scissors and some double-sided sticky tape or some glue or something along those lines. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our fish. So I'm going to need my circle to draw around and a pencil. And I'm going to draw around about halfway around my shape and take it off. And I'm going to extend out a little bit at the side so it comes out to the sides like this, around the top of the circle. And then I'm going to draw a tail which goes out round the back up to a point and then back round again. About halfway down, I'm going to draw a fin which sticks out around the bottom, and then I'm going to join that line up to join it, and I'm going to draw out from it to join up with the beginning line. So now I've got my fish, and I'm going to give him a nice big eye. Now I'm going to leave a space, and I'm going to draw the bottom half of his mouth. So from the point where the end is there, I'm going to draw a kind of a curved line down to where his tail goes. Then I'm going to draw the second bit of his tail, and then I'm going to join this line up with this line in a kind of a boat shape. So now I've got my fish. Now I'm going to colour him in. Start with his eye. I'm going to draw a little circle here for the light, and that bit's going to be white, and I'm going to colour the rest of his eye in black. And now I'm going to take some blues and greens and I'm going to colour in my fish. And as I've coloured, I've tried to follow the lines of the shape that I'm drawing so that my colouring in lines follow the shape of my drawing, you get a better idea of what it's going to be like there. And now I'm going to cut him out. Take my scissors. First of all, I'm going to cut him in 2 bits, and then I'm going to cut round the shape really carefully. You might need to ask a grown-up to help you with some of these, especially these tricky bits where you have to go into there. So you've got both bits. Now we're ready to put some sticky tape on the back, and we can make our fish. I'm going to get some double-sided sticky tape and cut 2 bits. Not too long because it's going to fit on a peg. And I'm going to stick them on the back of my fish, starting with his nose, because that's the bit that's going to stick into the peg. Stick down both sides. And then we need to peel off the backing. So if you haven't got double-sided sticky tape, some strong glue will do, or you can take a piece of sellotape and make a little roll out of it so that it's sticky on both sides. That will work just as well. Okay, now I'm ready to put him on my peg. So I've got my peg, and I need to hold it this way because this is going to be a bit that opens for his mouth. I need to stick it on the edge of the peg. And we're going to stick his mouth at the bottom, underneath the fin, so it just sticks up against it. So now I've got my fish, and we can open his mouth. So now with some of the bits of card that you've got left, you can draw a little man if you like. You should draw a little stick man. Cut round him, making sure that you make his arms fat enough to cut out, and the body and his legs. So now you've got Jonah. I'm going to take my little Jonah man that I've cut out, to open his mouth, and he can hold on to Jonah. Okay. Now you have a go.
So in today's story, Jonah was feeling really scared and really angry at different points throughout the story. And maybe during lockdown we felt the similar. We felt frustrated, we felt upset that we can't go out, or that we can't see our families, we can't hug Nana, whatever it might be. But we can't use all these different trials and tribulations that we face for us to ignore people and be unkind. In the story we saw unkindness when they threw him overboard, and we saw Jonah trying to ignore the people of Nineveh to start with. But God says that he wants us to be kind to one another, and maybe if we're on a journey a bit like Jonah's today, maybe if we feel like we're inside a bit of a fish, we're trapped on all sides, maybe we can use this time for us to realise the good things that God has done for us and decide that we want to be part of even more of those great things. So today's challenge is for us to see what we can do to be even more kind and to see the wonderful things that God has created in and around us. God, help me not to ignore people and help me not to be unkind, but instead help me to see the wonderful things you've created and the wonderful world around me. Help me to enjoy it and help me to really find your peace at this time. Amen.
We hope you enjoyed that video, and I really hope you're doing the crafts at home, because if you do all 4 weeks, then there'll be a goodie bag at the end for you. And to be able to get that goodie bag, if you just email the pictures of your crafts to the email in the description, and then we'll know who's done it and be able to contact you to arrange your goodie bag. If you've also been watching and want to go on your own personal journey with Jesus, then in a second I'm going to say a prayer, and all you'll have to do is say it along with me, and it'll be along the bottom of the screen ready for you to say. Jesus, I know that you have made me and want me to follow you with all of my heart. I know I have been selfish and wanted to be my own boss. I am sorry. I accept your promises and ask you to please save me now and forever. Amen. So if you said that prayer that I just said, then if you could just get a grown-up to email the email in the description and contact them about anything coming up in the future that you can connect with and come along to as we start opening back up post-lockdown. It'd be great to see you next week. Bye.